This is Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook. This morning, I want to talk about Tommy Robinson, this man. And he is an activist. He's the former president of the English Defense League. He was arrested. This is an image of his arrest on May 25th. On May 25th, he was Facebooking live outside of a grooming gang trial, okay, where 1,400 children were raped in England by organized grooming gangs. Okay, what is grooming? Okay, you groom your beard, roadblock fell out. You groom your beard, you groom your lawn. How do you groom a child? Well, what does that really mean? That's a euphemistic term. What these gangs are actually doing, these are mafia-style organized sex trafficking rings. And they are conducting, and they're imported from mostly Pakistan. Okay, just like the Cosa Nostra came from Italy when the Italians started immigrating to America, and they were a big problem for a long time until the RICO Act started. Giuliani passed the RICO Act. I think it was like 1996, not that long ago. These gangs, this organizational sex trafficking, okay, on a scale never before seen in Europe, in European history, has been imported from Pakistan. Anyway, so he was reporting on this, and there was a media blackout. The government is so ashamed of what's happened, this national tragedy, that they did an enforced media blackout, and the media is so cowardly that no other media showed up. And this man, Tommy Robinson, was arrested very suddenly. He wasn't interacting with anybody, and this is the image of the arrest. These are the police arresting him, and he was just railroaded very quickly for trying to report on this. He wasn't disturbing the peace. He was arrested for breaching the peace, and within 5 hours, he was given a 13-month sentence for breaching the peace, and he's now in prison. Worldwide protests have broken out over his arrest, and this is very clearly government oppression and suppression of free speech. The First Amendment in the Constitution is considered the most important, and that is the right to free speech. Okay, so like those football players, the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to a party that the president offered for them and their families. They're calling that free speech. Here's a man reporting on organized pedophilia, sex trafficking rings, and he's arrested. It's really disturbing. So there's worldwide protests, and there's plus 500,000 signatures. Donald Trump Jr. and Meghan Markle's sister Samantha have both tweeted in support of Tommy Robinson. So the first question I want to ask is, will Tommy Robinson be released before the end of his 13-month prison sentence? Because he's in incredible danger. El-Shabaab he's been jailed before, and they were trying to kill him. They're trying to murder him in jail. So the first question is, will these protests result in Tommy Robinson being released before the end of his 13-month prison sentence? Will he be released early? Wow. That's a maybe. Let's see if you can see that. Okay. So I asked Will Tommy Robinson, because his life is in danger. He did a 10-month prison sentence before. They were trying to kill him. They were trying to kill him in prison. And Al-Shabaab, an Ethiopian ISIS operator, they have put a kill at all costs on his head. They have ordered Muslims worldwide to kill him because they consider him so dangerous. So what do we have? Will he be released early? Fox, Butterfly, Player, Scapegoat. Scapegoat may be released. Butterfly is being free. Fox and Player. The Fox is very clever. And this is, the Fox is a very feminine kind of legal card. Fox is more situational than Magi. So they have the power to release him, and they would do it because of the disturbing situation that they're creating. And Player is very selfish. Fox and Player are very similar. They're both selfish. They're both very self-interested. They're very, the Player is immature. The Player has money. The Player acts only in their best interest. The Fox is very selfish, acts only in her interests. Let's add this up. This is 12 and 11, 23. So 23 is 6 clubs. The rooted situation, olive tree, the rooted situation. So the Player and the Fox may consider it to be in their best interest to release him early. That's interesting and unexpected. So I think they may release him a little early because of the worldwide protests and how it's turning Tommy Robinson into a martyr. Okay, and he wrote 2 books. Which are telling. The first book he wrote is Enemy of the State. Okay, this is a man who's had everything stolen from him by the state. He had 2 very successful businesses. He owned 7 properties, and they just started stealing everything. The state did. And just locking him up. They arrested his 6-month pregnant wife. She's not involved in his businesses. They arrested his brother. They closed his businesses. They just keep stealing all his money. And finally he's like, well, I have nothing left to lose anymore. They just stolen everything from me. So I'm just going to be this activist. And so now he believes he's going to be killed eventually. Just for speaking out against the state. Okay, so I asked if he would be released early. And so another main question is, they're trying to kill him. Will he be killed? Will he be murdered in prison? Because this could indicate that he gets murdered. Will Tommy Robinson be murdered? Yeah, some really bad feelings. Oh dear. Excuse me. All right, so will Tommy Robinson be murdered in prison? Incubus, succubus, cornerstone, straight razor, mustard seed. So they really hate him. Okay, there are people in there that really hate him. Straight razor is attacks, cutting, harm. He's been, every time he goes to prison, he has to fight for his life, and he does. And there's multiple documented attempts to murder him while he's in prison. This adds 6 and 4 is 10 and 11. That adds 3 clubs, 3 black birds. Okay, so Cornerstone says to me that he's going to make it. Okay, his position is solid. This could be, instead, this could be the coffin. Okay, so mustard seed, he's planted in a solid situation, but they hate him and they're going to make attempts on his life. And one of the attempts that they made on his life the last time he was in prison was they'll throw boiling water in your face and they put sugar in it, so it sticks to your skin and just peels your skin right off and deforms you. And someone warned him about it, immediately before it was about to go down. And Tommy's like, okay, who? And the prisoner who was warning him pointed, and Tommy went right over and just started punching the guy out. And then, of course, he was arrested and put in solitary confinement, which is safer, but he avoided having boiling water thrown in his face. And that's a gang hit. Okay, that young prisoner who was going to throw the boiling sugar water in his face and peel all his skin off very painfully was paid. He was told to do it by the gang. Okay, so I think Tommy Robinson will survive. That's good. Another thing I want to ask is, okay, because they're constantly, is Tommy Robinson going to be seen by the public? There's a lot of people who love Tommy Robinson, okay, but there's a lot of people who revile and hate him. They call him a racist, okay? So basically, those people are for organized sex trafficking rings. Because, I mean, really? They're not going to say that. Okay, so it's a war of words. Okay, here's a man who's fighting for his country. And he's an immigrant. He's the son of Irish immigrants. But he's a Briton now. I'm a first-generation American. I love my country. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's weird when people are not loyal to their country. I think that's a great, great evil. When people are not loyal to their country. So, will Tommy Robinson, will he be considered a hero or a villain? Okay, because here he is, very literally, very specifically what he was doing. He's reporting on organized sex trafficking rings that the government has failed to prosecute, okay, because they're so ashamed of the fact that this is going on and they're not doing anything about it. And so the people who hate Tommy Robinson, it's ridiculous. They call him a racist. So is he going to be hailed generally as a hero or as a villain in this strange and twisted world that we now live in? Okay, and, riddle me this, Batman. How can it be a bad thing to fight for the rights of children and to fight against mafia-style sex trafficking rings and that are molesting and raping and murdering children on a scale never before seen in European history? How can that be a bad thing? So, will he be viewed as a hero or a villain? Let's ask. Because a lot of people consider him a hero. And other people, no matter... Okay, I want the bottom card. Interesting. Okay. Okay, Tommy Robinson. Public perception. Hero or villain? Hightower, Crossroads, Snake. Lovers. Okay, Lovers, he's a hero. But the rest of the cards... Let's see. Hightower is official. This is the government. Snake is very crafty, very sneaky. The Snake is a liar. The Snake is a great demonic card. The Crossroads is two or more options. It seems that the verdict is still out on whether or not he's a hero or a villain. Okay, Snake is very vengeful, very angry. It lies in wait. It strikes when you least expect it. So the government is just going to keep taking vengeance on him. Let's add this up. So this is 12 and 9, 21, 26. finger of God. Yeah, so the government is going to continue to oppress him and say evil, negative things about him. Oh, this terrible man, he's trying to protect British children against organized mafia rape gangs. Oh, that's so terrible. And interesting, I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of response I get to this video, because I think I'm going to get some hyperbolic, hate-filled vitriol because people are so politicized and, you know, just so polarized and politicized. We live in a very strange and very dangerous time. Very dangerous time. So I think here the verdict is out. The verdict is still out. The government and the official word is they're going to continue to defame him. Okay, this terrible man is reporting on the worst organized rape of children in the history of Europe. That's terrible. He's trying to help these children. Okay, but on the bottom, there's a lot of people who love him. There's a groundswell of support who don't believe the lies that the media and the government are telling you. And in particular, the government is doing this. The high tower is the government. The government is going to keep hurting him, keep stealing from him, keep lying to you. It's time that we come out and be separate. And that's what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that the people of God must come out and be separate. We live in the world, but we are not part of the world. The world is a mess. So let's wrap up what we've got here, okay? I asked, would he be released early? Okay, will Tommy Robinson, because of the worldwide protests, will Tommy Robinson be released early from this railroading and political oppression that just sent him to prison within 5 hours? They can't arrest rapists, but they can grab the guy who talks about it and send him to prison in 5 hours. Never before seen in British history. No one has ever been prosecuted so fast or so unjustly in the history of Britain. Okay, and our laws are from British law. Okay, it may be in the best interest of the government to set him free. The butterfly is free, and Scapegoat goes out and free. He's free to go out. So I think he will be released early from his 13-month sentence because of the plus 500,000 signatures and the worldwide protests that continue today. And the public outcry against the political oppression, the 1984-style political oppression. Here I asked, would Tommy Robinson be murdered in prison? No, I think he will not be murdered, thank God. And if he is, I think he becomes a martyr, and I think there will be violence. There will be violence. And I think there needs to be violence at this point because the government is so violent. So I think it's in their best interest, one, to set him free a little bit early, and two, to keep him safe, to make sure he's not murdered in prison. They hate him, and they're going to make attempts on his life. Okay, but they're going to keep him safe. He's not going to be murdered, and he's going to keep himself safe because he's become a large enough figure now that people are really watching. People are really watching what happens to him. If they murder him, if they sacrifice him, there's going to be a lot of really upset people. And I think there will be violence. Whether you agree with him or not, I think there will be violence. And Antifa is going to get their ass kicked. The fascists, Antifa. Okay, so is he going to come out as a hero or a villain? Underlying is the hero, okay? And if he's killed, I think he automatically becomes a hero. He becomes a Martin Luther King figure. He becomes a John F. Kennedy figure, okay, if he dies. So it's really in their interest to keep him alive so that he doesn't become the man, the legend, Tommy Robinson. Okay, so, but the government is just constantly working against him, and they're just very powerful, and they'll just never going to stop. They're constantly going to be hammering you with how racist it is to try to save, to try to stop these organized sex trafficking rings on a scale never before seen in America, in European history. Oh, that's so evil. You evil man, Tommy Robinson, trying to stop little children from being raped by mafia sex trafficking rings. Yeah, that's so evil. So to a lot of people, he's a hero, but they're just going to keep pounding it. And there was a media blackout before this, and there was a media blackout that you couldn't report on it after he was arrested in England. Okay, so that's how evil the government is in England right now. They don't want people to know what they're doing. And this man is making it very uncomfortable for them. So he is a hero. So anyway, I think Tommy's going to be okay. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook.